Lovely. Well, thank you for inviting me here this afternoon. I've seen the film and I must say, thought it was brilliant. So well done. You must be very excited today at the premiere. Can I just start with you, Wendy, because you were obviously the writer and director of the film. Was there one incident that made you decide, I need to make this film? Was there a moment? What was the moment that made you think, yes, I'm going to make it?
I don't know if it was one moment, but a series of moments outside the abattoir where the investigation took place, where I used to go and stand before it went to court, because it couldn't go to court immediately. They wouldn't use the evidence. They wouldn't accept undercover footage as evidence. So we stayed there. So I think you'll see in the film, if you've seen in the film, there's one pig which is on the poster. Can't really see, but there's one particular pig that I met, as it were, and so it wasn't just one moment, but standing there so many times, I just couldn't any longer do nothing. It just was accumulative. I think I just didn't know how to process it, actually, and it just came through me. Like, that sounds really bad. It just came like it just came out of me. I didn't have much control over it, to be really honest with you. I didn't really want to write anything because I'd never written anything before, but I just had to, and I was compelled to, and it just wouldn't stop. And sometimes I tried to make it stop, and I'd walk away from it and go, oh, I can't do this, it's too hard, or
Well,
whatever.
Quite harrowing, isn't it? Is
Yeah.
that why you sometimes wanted to stop?
That, and just I didn't know about writing really, and people read it and I wasn't sure. I felt very exposed, and because it was harrowing being in that topic all the time. But I just then I would walk away and stop, and it would insist, and it would come back to me. So I feel like I didn't have an awful lot to do with it. It was just like I kind of shaped it, but it just flowed through. It was weird. It's really odd.
You said that you met a pig, and what did you mean by that?
Well, I wasn't vegan when I started, and when I watched in the trucks, and like my character does, she makes a connection with the animal, and it suddenly didn't seem other. It wasn't other anyway, really, because I was a big animal lover before, but I wasn't fully vegan. But it was just traumatic seeing what I saw as people, but just different types of people, animal people, with their own thoughts, their individuality and their feelings and their fear. So that's when I looked into the eyes of them. It felt like meeting, because we kind of shared time and there was a communion of sorts.
Carol, as the executive producer, what was your role in it? I mean, are you a vegan? Do you feel passionate about this subject, or did you join purely for professional reasons?
No, absolutely not to do with professional reasons. I became a vegetarian in 1973. My sister was a vegetarian already. She's 8 years younger than me, so she was the first of the family. And I came back from drama school, where I was at that time, and I saw a load of calves being shot between the eyes, because it was a time of beef mountains and butter mountains and so on. And it was quite late at night, and I come back from a rehearsal and I saw the news bulletin, and I thought, that's it. I'd always been a latent vegetarian, if you like. And that was a very long time ago, and it was impossible to be a vegetarian, let alone a vegan. And I wanted to get people on my side. I wanted people to understand why I'd done it. And the reason that I'd done it was because I recognized from birth, if you like, that there is a sentience which goes with being an animal in just the same way as a human being. And animals have absolutely everything that we have in terms of emotion. And if you're actually with them, and if you get to know them very well, you can see that their instincts are identical, but different.
I think I think
Sorry.
I think that's what was very clever about the film, personifying the pigs. I mean, they were people, they were actors, and I
Yes.
think somebody like me that isn't a vegan, that really helped me to connect, to see them
Yeah.
being
And
animals.
it's interesting to hear you say that, because I then became a vegan about 6 years ago or so, because times have changed. And it was consolidated, if you like, by Wendy approaching me, because she obviously knew about my animal rights activities, which have been, since 1973, basically. Because when you open one door and you start to realize something, a whole, like education or enlightenment of any sort, as soon as you open that door, a whole load of other stuff comes at you, and you go, and there's this, and there's this. So you can't ever just be an advocate for one thing. It opens up the whole can of worms, if you like, and you realize the stuff that's going on. And when Wendy approached me and said, would I be involved in the film, and I saw the film, it's precisely because of what you've said, or at least that's one of the reasons that made me so keen to get on board with her, because not only did I admire Wendy previously as an actress, but to get to know her as a person and to see the script. And what I've said all along is its accessibility, because what's very difficult about being an animal advocate or an animal activist is that it's very easy to alienate people. Because rather like Trump supporters, I've just been watching a documentary before coming in here, not a documentary, it was a bit on Facebook actually, it was part of a news item. And when people have made up their mind about something, there's pretty well nothing that can change it, unless you get into a little chink and they go, so you don't want to alienate people, you want to entice them to see it from your point of view. And what's fantastic about Wendy's film is that's what she does, because if people have the real truth placed in front of them all in one go, and without them having encountered the experience before, or the knowledge or the awareness, or call it what you like, they'll go, whoa, I don't want to know. This is too frightful. Maybe later. Maybe I'll look later. But because this has got people personifying the pigs, and because the true footage, the real footage, is conveyed in such a way, subtly, it makes it possible for people, perhaps like yourself, who are not initiated to the truth of the abattoir, the truth of the factory farming, able to watch it. And that is the first step towards understanding what's actually going on out there. And it's making it, as I say, accessible.
Point you make, isn't it? Because you don't want to be preaching to the converted, because presumably what you hope that this film will do will get more people on your side, not on your side.
Yeah.
Do you think that what did you do in the film that you think will make people have that chink? You mentioned a chink. Is there anything that you think that you particularly brought to the film or put into the film?
Well, I haven't done anything in the film. I'm not acting in it or anything like that. I've been kind of advisor and a sounding board for Wendy and all that kind of stuff. But I think that what is in the film, what everybody else, like Maria, Johnny, all do, is, as I say, make it accessible. And because there is some real footage there, when I know it's coming up, I sort of have to go like this, because I've seen it all before and I know how horrible it is. But
where did you get it from, Wendy?
Sorry?
Where was the footage from? Where did you obtain that footage?
There were different sources. Animal Aid, who did the original investigation, kindly gave us that footage. Viva gave us some other footage, or let us use some other footage, and Compassion in World Farming and Animal Equality. So they were great, all those charities.
I haven't seen that footage before, and it is very shocking, isn't it?